For those of you who have been following my channel for a while, this guy may look familiar. This is the same model Dell 745 that I had rescued earlier for the dirt cheap DAW and the Super Potato. This Optiplex 745 was a full-size desktop model which I snatched before it went into the bin at work. Rocking a Celeron D CPU and loaded up with Windows XP, it was still electrically functional, although the operating system was borked. On the back side, we have the usual ports, serial and parallel ports, VGA output, lots of USB 2 ports, and an Ethernet port. We also have some extra PCI cards, an extra serial port with PS2 ports, a TV tuner card with a VGA output, and an extra Ethernet card. We'll evict the dust bunnies and see what else is interesting inside. Interesting. The PS2 ports are actually just an interface to the motherboard. Who knew? As for the capture card, it's an ATI card, and from the chipset, I believe this is an ATI Rage 128 all-in-one capture card, the PCI version. As for the Ethernet card, it's a Davicon fast Ethernet adapter designed for Windows XP and older machines. It's a 10100 card, which is the same as the motherboard, so I guess this was used to shuffle files into two different networks. Forgive the poor picture, but the power supply seems to be okay. The stock power supply is around 250 watts, but I can replace that later. We'll replace the BIOS battery and pull out the PCI cards before doing any more work on it. First up, let's update that ancient BIOS with something a little peppier. Flashing a BIOS is nerve-wracking because a bad flash will brick your system. When the screen goes to black, it's concerning. But the upgrade went smoothly, so yay! Like the other 745, I obtained a Q66 quad-core CPU. Quad cores. Checking the fine manual. Always hunt down those fine manuals. We can undo the two screws holding the heatsink in place and tilt back the heatsink. The old thermal paste may give you a fight, but rock the heatsink gently and take your time. After it's tilted back, you can remove the heatsink for easier access. With the Celeron removed, in went the Q6600. Although the Celeron was faster, it only had a single core. Now I have 4 cores, and the more cores the better. To be honest, I don't recommend putting in CPUs that are not recommended by the manufacturer. It can cause problems with some programs. Since it came with only 3 gigs of memory and is capable of 8 gigs, I put in 6 gigs of DDR2 memory that I had available, and with the new CPU, I ran MemTest 4.3.7, because that's how I roll. We'll toss in this NVIDIA GT430 graphics card. The original fan was busted, so I replaced it. It's not a great card, but I have it on hand, and it's an upgrade compared to the built-in motherboard graphics. We'll use a cheap SSD and a terabyte spinning Rust hard drive for storage and install Linux Mint. Minty fresh. So what's this all about? Since we have a video capture card, let's play with capturing some video. We'll need a VHS machine. Grab them when you can. They're disappearing like they're going out of style. With V for Linux and VLC installed, let's test out the ATI card and see how good the capture is. Since it only has RF inputs, it might be a little noisy. But even with V4Linux installed, VLC doesn't recognize the ATI card. However, I have this old and cheap Windows video capture card with both RF and composite video inputs. It was designed for Windows 98 and 2000. Let's give that a try. Although V4Linux sees the card, we're not getting any video. So it's off to Scamazon to buy a VHS to USB capture device, with instructions for both Windows and Mac. Let's see if it works with Linux Mint. Using VLC, well, we have video. I'm not concerned about the tracking issues because the VHS tape is crap. What bothers me is the video is very small and there's no audio. I tried several configurations and was only able to get sporadic audio. This sucks. Let's download OBS. I needed to tweak the video settings and feed the VHS audio directly into the computer audio inputs, and we have audio and video in glorious 4x3.
He was self-effacing. He wasn't pompous or flashy in any way. He had a natural majesty about him that poor John Adams, who followed him, never could fill those shoes.
But just for fun, let's try the Windows capture card in a period-accurate machine and OS. We'll drop it in one of the XP machines I recently revived. The card is made for Windows 98/2000. It should work fine in XP. After installing the correct drivers, Windows Movie Maker records audio and video. I had to convert it from Windows Media Format, but hey, that's what Handbrake is for.
Still standing more than 160 years after Andrew Jackson planted them.
So, what have we learned? Although Linux is fabulous for 95 to 99% of most people's needs, there's some hardware and software that it just doesn't play well with. You have to fuss with it. Although I did get OBS to record off the VHS deck in Linux, it was easier using the ancient hardware on a Windows XP machine. I hope you've enjoyed my VHS shenanigans. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm a tiny channel with no sponsors or Patreon, so every interaction makes my day. Play with old hardware, try old things, and as always, stay curious. Now where is that embarrassing old VHS of my nephews as toddlers?